Welcome to the show, Rachel Lincoln. You are an independent country pop singer-songwriter from Australia, now based in the US. Starting out as a vocalist in cover bands, you decided to focus on developing as an original artist, where you write your own songs and play ukulele. You have won international songwriting awards in the country, pop, and adult contemporary genres. Your most popular song, Married in Vegas, has had over 1.5 million streams on Spotify. You've just started a fundraiser with 100% of your CD sales going to charity, Knowledge for Kids Foundation, who provide educational resources to underprivileged school-aged children. Having spent time as an English teacher in Thailand, you've seen firsthand the lack of resources in education that they have. There's loads to talk about with you, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do tell us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, that's wonderful for you to be here. Tell us more.
So, as you mentioned, I'm from Australia originally. Started out in, wedding singing, cover bands, that kind of thing. And that was great. It was wonderful to be able to make a living from music. But it got old pretty quick. You're doing the same set lists, you're doing just the same thing pretty much. Groundhog Day begins to set in. And I thought, well, this is wonderful. I don't have to have a desk job. This is great. But if I'm going to be making a living from music, I've got to be singing my stuff, otherwise what's the point, really?
That's right.
That was what I thought. So I decided to make the move, came over to the US. So I've been in the US for about a year and a half now. Pretty happy with the progress I've made so far. Came out to LA, and LA was a lot for me. So Vegas was a bit more manageable. Ended up in Vegas, and I wrote a song called Married in Vegas, which, funnily enough, I'd actually written before I'd ever been to Vegas. I actually wrote it back in Australia, but I've had some pretty good feedback on that one. And I've just gone ahead and made this EP happening, and 100% of the proceeds are going to charity. So education is something I'm pretty passionate about. I've spent time as a high school teacher in rural Thailand, way off the tourist trail, up country, sort of rice paddy territory. And I thought to myself, I love music, and I'm really passionate about, education, especially in sort of underprivileged areas. And I thought, well, how can I combine the two? So I think this fundraiser is a step in the right direction. The deal with the fundraiser is for everyone that buys the CD, 100% of the proceeds are going to charity, which is great. If you're in the US and you're a US taxpayer, it's actually a tax deduction. So, that's a nice little bonus for, a bit of money back in your pocket at tax time. And you're actually going to the draw to win a resort stay at one of elite island resorts locations across the Caribbean and Panama. So bit of an incentive there, a 7 to 10 night stay, depending on which location you choose. So quite a few nice little elements to it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Bless you for being a humanitarian.
Oh, well, I think the world at the moment, it's, where do you begin? There's so many things happening, and I think the world needs socially conscious individuals right now. Now's the time to be doing these kind of things, I think. I mean, obviously always is the time, but especially at the moment. Yeah.
Well, the blessing is that you get to use your music, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
To talk with a message all over. See, the lyrical content is so, music is wonderful by itself. Once you add lyrical content, it takes over.
Right.
That's the part you remember, because it's speech and language and all that, right? Now, if you got a melody, a catchy melody with what you're doing, you're halfway there, right?
And of course, like, music is a universal language, isn't it? The emotions that we can connote through a melody or, a phrase lyrically is great. So I just hope that more artists, especially big artists, how they can use their voice to create awareness around things that are going on in the world, because there's not enough happening of it, I don't think.
Well, I say this all the time, more people want to get along than people that don't.
Yeah, that's true.
That's encouraging, right?
Yeah.
And if we can spread the love through music, because life ain't all bad and people are tired of bad news. So let's give them some competition. Let's give bad news some competition. See?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, on the news, you don't hear about the good stuff. You only hear about the murders and the crimes and stuff, don't you?
It's crazy. You know why? Because
Fear mongering.
yeah, but nobody stepped up. There's a lot of people doing beautiful things for people, every day, and they get no credit for it. We got to unleash and spread the love through music. But like you were saying, social consciously, right? We can change things with songs.
Yeah. But now this might sound a bit conspiracy theory-ish, but
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's, it goes without saying that, of course, the news is going to have, the crime stories and the bad stories on there because they want to divide us, don't they? They don't want us to band together.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna have divisive stories on there, on the news.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you see. But
Mhm.
see, Music for Global Change, we're going to be a good news channel where you can go hear some positive, not only music, but like we just had we have filmmakers on, and I always ask them, do you play any music? Some of them do. Some of the directors and all the stuff like that behind the scenes playing music, right? And
That's
so
great.
we know that if you link that up with the visual, shoot, that's huge.
That's powerful. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I think a lot of maybe the lack of discussion around this is maybe, smaller artists, independent artists like myself, they probably feel like, oh, well, I'm just another small independent artist. What can I do? No one's going to listen to me. But yeah, I think if we all band together,
Yeah, that's the problem right there, though.
yeah,
You
people
think
don't think that they can do anything themselves. But things like this, doing a fundraiser or, getting involved with, nonprofits in your area. There's a bunch of nonprofits, in every artist's local area, neighborhood. Partner up with them, see what you can do. Do you want to help them with a fundraiser? Do you want to, stand outside Walmart and, spread the word? We all can do something. I mean, if our music can help, then that's great.
I started out writing theme songs for foundations.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a foundation might have 200,000 or 300,000 people, right? And if you get your music and then you listen, hey, give me a couple of dollars and you guys raise all the music, you can make the rest of the money, right? And that way you can help some of these foundations keep their doors open.
Yeah. Well, I think I would say that probably the most straightforward and easiest thing that artists can do, let them use your music for a fundraiser. Say, here you go, here's, 5 or 10 tracks of mine. You guys organize the manufacturing of CDs or, vinyl, vinyl's coming back. And you say to them, I'm giving you the music. You can, if you can find someone to make up vinyls and CDs for you, go ahead, use them in a fundraiser. You can keep the money. It's no skin off our teeth as the artist, is it? And it's more exposure as well for us.
It's amazing. I wrote this song for cancer survivors, right? And the American Cancer Society used my song 6 times, right?
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let me make no money off of it at the venue, though.
Oh.
I thought maybe I could make, But then at the same time, I was looking at it like, if you guys did we take $2, and you can give, you can make 15 off of it. And then I was looking at all those black tie events that they have where people are giving money to them, right? Well, they leave there with nothing. They just put money up and they walk out. Give them a song. Give them a song.
Give them
when
something
they
in return. Yeah. Give them a free CD or I mean, it only has to have a couple of songs on there. It's not. And I think the thing is, it's exposure for the artist. How good's that? It's a no-brainer. Tapping into a whole new fan demographic potentially.
Yeah.
That whole pool of people. That could be new fans that follow you and actually then go ahead and actually buy a concert ticket to your next gig. Why wouldn't you?
Yes, man. Tom?
I just want to talk a little bit, Rachel, about obviously you moved from doing cover songs to writing your own material, your own songs. What's been the sort of inspirations that you've had for the tracks that you've written? Were there particular types of thing that you wanted to focus on, or how did you find your inspiration?
That's a good question. I think I can write about anything really. A lot of my songwriting comes from not necessarily stuff that's happened in my life, but just ideas, or like my song "Married in Vegas." Like, a couple of years ago, I had a thought, about a story about two people that have a wild night in Vegas and end up getting hitched, and I thought, oh, that there's probably a lot of movies around that sort of narrative, but that would make a great song.
Yeah.
And then I just went ahead and wrote it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a bit of experience with some of them, but also just having ideas about narratives, I think. Yeah. I've recently written a song that I hope can spark some social change. It's about, changing the world and doing our part and banding together. So look out for that one.
I love the doing our part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's going to take, right?
Well, it's a puzzle, isn't it? I mean, yes, if we as an individual try to, change the world and, change the law and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you're probably not going to have much success. But if you band together and, everyone's contributing, then maybe something can actually change. Yeah.
See, all those events need a song.
Very true.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then when the event's over, you can give out to all the guests, you could give out, a copy of the song through a QR code or, CD. I know that's probably a bit old fashioned, but give them something back. Give them the song to listen to when they leave as well.
What was that? I think they were called Radiohead or something like that. I forget. They did a record and gave it away. But they said, but they said, if you want to donate, they said they made more money off that record than they ever made from the record company.
Well, I mean, making money off record companies, I mean, that's not surprising, is it?
Yeah, but
they're pretty hard to get money out of.
But some people went, hey, you know what? I love that you guys are going to do that. They'll give a little bit more to them, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it was really wonderful because they made a lot of money, like just saying it's a donation, whatever you want to give, you know what I mean? But it's free, but it's a donation. We have to do that now because the industry is gone. So we have to get out and get in front of people ourselves personally, like it was even before there was an internet. You had to go perform.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And from the other side of it, just as from the artist development point of view, some musicians are probably going, oh, well, why should I do that? Why should I? It's the exposure that can come from it, as you've said, is phenomenal. In this day and age, you've got to have some, as an artist, you've got to have something that sets you apart. Everyone's an artist these days. Anyone can distribute music through Spotify, but you've got to differentiate yourself, I think.
When I'm producing vocalists, I tell them just 2 months before we have our session, don't listen to nobody else's music.
Yeah, okay.
And simply because if I hear a singer trying to sound like somebody else, we're not going anywhere because you haven't figured out who you are yet and your sound.
Yeah, very true.
Right?
Yeah, and just looping back to what you were saying about that album that was put out, with the donation thing. The other great thing about that is when you do that, you actually probably garnish the attention of companies, because if they donate, they can get a tax write-off. It's tax deductible, right? A donation.
Yeah, true.
So that opens up a whole new avenue of, you could get, corporate attention, corporate funding and donations as well. So yeah, that's a pretty powerful move, doing the album, the free album for the donation.
We're going to be throwing festivals, but it's going to be new talent playing social conscious music. People are tired of bad news. Let's give them some good news.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to, as an artist, if you want to, I guess, build a fan base and, get people listening, you've got to give them something that they want to listen to.
That's right.
And I learned that, I back when I started writing, before I transitioned to country, I wrote almost like electronic pop music because I thought that's what I had to write to be, received well. But I realized there's no benefit really in writing, heartbroken love songs, because people want to listen to music that makes them feel good.
Yeah.
So give them a good story. Yeah, give them a nice story about, for example, two people that end up getting married in Vegas. Like, that's a happy, feel good story, or about changing the world. Enough music is written about heartbreak and breakups and negative stuff. Let's start doing some songs that people actually want to listen to make them feel good. Most songs, I would say, are either about finding love or losing love. Generally, you can categorize them. There's so many songs about, the love and, the heartbreak and stuff, but also about some pretty awful topics, depression and some of the stuff that you hear on the radio that the young kids are listening to now is actually pretty dark. Depression and crime and stuff, and I don't know, you think, is this cool? Like, they really want to hear this? But I don't know. I think I'm transitioning now into that age where I'm, feeling a bit out of the loop with, what the young kids are listening to. But yeah, some of it's, even from when I was that age, I think it's got a lot darker what some of these kids are consuming, the lyrical content.
I love when babies and young people hear some of the older music that didn't come from computers, right?
Well, what's coming to mind when you say that is What a Wonderful World. That just came to my mind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's classic, right? But there's so many of the older tunes. When babies hear them, I remember when my daughter was 8 years old, I played her some Motown. She's like, "Dad, what's that, Dad? What's that?" I said, "That's old. That's old. That's when I was a kid, when I was your age, right?" But the melodies caught her, right?
Yeah.
Those old melodies. Ooh, that's cool. Until she learned the lyrics from them and stuff like that, But
yeah, right.
Man, we could talk about that. Tom, we could talk about that all day. Look.
Well, I just want to know, Rachel, well, you just mentioned about the song that you've most recently just completed there. What's next for you? I mean, what's the name of that particular track? I don't think you gave us the name, and when's it out, and what else is coming up?
Well, I've only just I haven't recorded it yet. I've just finished writing it, and I've got my melody and my beat, but it's not recorded yet.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to work out how best to put it out. I want to give it the best shot, and trying to think about ways in which to give it the best chance of reaching people. So I might actually, I'll get it ready and I'll record it and all of that, but I'm probably going to keep it until I find the right opportunity, whether it be partnering up with a nonprofit or some kind of event where it could be debuted, something like that. So it's coming, but I want to do it strategically. Yeah. So it gets out there and spreads the message.
Wow. Well, listen, bless you for taking the time to come on our show.
Thanks.
Oh, no, thanks for having me. It's been lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really informative, but at the same time, I can feel your spirit of how much you love music. Oh yeah,
it's something that I knew from being a young child that it was my purpose, and when we're young and impressionable in high school and that kind of age group, we have these people around us, and they could be parents, they could be your favorite teacher at high school, and they tell you, oh, you can't have music as a real job. That's not real. You have to get a real job and have that as a hobby. And I sort of thought, no, I don't believe that. No, I'm going to prove you all wrong. And I'm out here, I'm in the US. I came out on my own and I'm still here. And I think I'm, getting some good stuff done. So hopefully that continues. For anyone listening to this, I just want to give the fundraiser one last plug. You can go to my website if you'd like to get your CD to go into the draw to win that resort trip. 100% of the proceeds are going to charity, and it's tax deductible in the US. So why would you not want to?
That was a great plug.
Well, I was a business major at college.
I could tell. I mean, wait a minute before we go.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right. Much love to you, sister.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.